probably have a pretty short meeting. Maybe we could just we'll just start off and talk about well, I guess we'll talk about our financial statements for a second. Lynn and I met for just a few minutes before we came on here, and hopefully everybody on the board has received a copy of the financial statement. Things are going as business as usual. We've had a pretty successful year and on pace to have a good year. I think there's probably one fund, Lynn, we didn't talk about this in our meeting, but there's one fund I think that we might have a carryover fund, and that might be in our special ed funding.
Yeah.
We just have received so much special ed funding this year because our numbers went up, and then we kind of had that 3-year reset where our funds really kicked in this year. So we're trying to spend that down as wisely as we can, but we might have a little bit of carryover there. Otherwise, everything else in our head count should everything else in our other programs we should spend down and then have a lot of quite a bit of excess unrestricted funds that will carry over to the next year. Of course, we're also picking up some portables, so we're doing that, but that'll hit sometime in the next fiscal year. That'll be FY25 when we'll hit that. But other than that, I think, unless Lynn, you have anything, things are going.
The only thing that we talked about in our meeting was that CAPSA grant. If we're going to,
the CAPSA. Alex, talk about that. Are we in the last year of our CAPSA? That's my understanding.
Yeah, I do think so. And for the most part, since we've hired Rebecca, their involvement has mostly been through just providing like education things at our school. They come and meet with all the freshmen and sophomores in different classes and provide healthy relationships, that sort of training for our kids. And even if we don't redo the app or the grant, I think that is something we could work out with CAPSA to continue to provide, because it's been a really helpful connection with that community resource. And also we do recommend kids to some of the counselors over at CAPSA, and I don't know if that's connected funding wise. I don't know if we're still helping pay for one of their positions over there.
Yeah, okay, that's kind of what I thought. I know we are trying to apply for a new round, Lynn, but we'll see if we get it. It's competitive.
Okay.
And we've kind of absorbed a lot of what initially that was paying for, if I remember right. We've taken.
Yeah, we did. It was more funding at the very beginning, like I was saying earlier. There was more funding at the beginning of the grant to kind of help us get it going, but they've kind of pared that back, and now we're kind of, as our student head count has gone up, we've picked up kind of the slack there. So,
okay.
Funding changes for next year. We've got received. I'll have a new budget for. I'll have a new budget in our June board meeting. And so in our June board meeting, just for planning purposes, we will have a new budget that we'll approve for the FY25 school year. And then we will also go back and reapprove a final budget for FY24. We've spent almost virtually 100% of our budget so far. We still have a month left. Well, actually, this is the end of April, so we still had a couple months left. So yeah, we're gonna outpace our budget, but that's just because we set our budget. It was a little bit, we ended up just having some additional students that came in above what we kind of thought we would be at, and then our funding went up because we hired some additional staff. So, but we're gonna go ahead and approve a final budget. If you just want to go down one more page, Alex, there to the, let's see, keep going down. Let's just go down to the graphs real quick. We can talk about that for just a second. So you can see our current head count. How many kids do we have on our waiting list right now, Alex?
So I think we just passed 100.
We have 100 kids on our waiting list. Where would you anticipate our October 1 head count to come in, Alex?
I was just looking at what you had from last year. So this kind of bleeds into the principal's report, but we did end up graduating 186 kids.
Okay. Okay. I'll let you talk about that in your principal's report. I'll let you talk about that. You can see kind of our cash flow history there. And then behind that is just the balance sheet. the income statement, take a look at all of that stuff. I know Lynn has, and I encourage all board members to look at that. And then the rest of the financial statements attached there if you want to have any questions. So are there any questions? Any other questions? Lynn, do you want me to add a little bit more to that? Do you want to add something? What are you?
No, I think you answered every question I had, so there was nothing. I thought everything looked great myself.
Yeah.
Just had a couple odd questions.
Yeah. Okay, perfect. That's all I have, Alex.
Perfect. The next thing is just the just kind of every year at the end of the year, the counseling department wanted to share what they've been working on for their data project. So this is a continuation of last year's data project. This is the second year, and it's focusing on helping students just increase their grades throughout the term. So for the comp guidance for the counseling program, they have to create this goal and work on it throughout the year. And so this is just kind of their results that's been tracked over the last school year, and they just wanted to share it with you guys, the board, so you guys kind of can see just kind of what's happening on the ground. So when you get a minute, you can look that over too, if you haven't already, and if you have any questions about it, reach out and let us know. But it's more just for your information than anything else. Yeah. Is that good there? Okay.
Yeah.
That's easy. So yes, today's was pretty quick, and then just kind of piggybacking off of what Ryan was saying about our head count and stuff. I'll put us back in this. So we did graduate 186 students. Not all were seniors. 38 of those graduates were juniors who all have a plan with either going to college, working a job, or they've already had certificates at BTech, and so they're really ready for adulting. So we always try to make sure that everyone that's going to graduate early especially has a pretty solid plan, because otherwise we really encourage them to stay on for the whole next year and just do BTech because it's free, and or concurrent enrollment classes. But there's, every year there's juniors that just want to be done and start their life. So it was the biggest graduation, as you guys saw there. It was awesome, and we still stayed within I think Jill said we were only over maybe 10 minutes from our usual, and so that was pretty cool. We are considering space for next year, as there were some families that weren't able to go into the Kent Concert Hall, or the Danes Concert Hall. And so we are looking at, maybe we do need to look at a bigger place. So something for next year's consideration. It's a good problem to have, though, and our juniors who are seniors is just as big of a class as what we graduated this year. So to Ryan's, kind of question of October head count, just based off of going down, losing the students from the graduates, we'll go down to 317, but with the 100 students already on the wait list, and we've only been out of school 2 days, I'm sure we will be at our October head count or beyond it. So we're really liking the number. I think we've really settled in. The crazy thing is like, even though we are at probably as high as I don't know. I don't ever want to say that, because we can always make room and work with kids online and stuff, but we always have a wait list. It's every day 2 or 3 names come across our email of saying, this kid was added to your wait list. This parent's reaching out. So it's a fantastic problem to have, because it's not really a problem.
Alex, how many students?
Go ahead.
Sorry, how many students are enrolled right now?
500. Yeah.
So are you saying that you think our October head count will be similar to what it was in FY24, so about 450?
Yeah.
Is what you think, and then we'll just kind of grow it to there. What did we end the school year at? Do you remember what
So we're at 503.
Okay, does that include, that includes the graduates and everybody?
Yeah, that was
Okay.
like on last Friday, last day of school.
I see.
Everyone that
So
was
we'll probably start October 1 before 50-ish, and then probably maybe float up to around 500, you think, throughout the school year, or is that?
Yeah, I think so. So I think another kind of interesting, just a tidbit for you guys is of that 500, 100 kids are online. They work remote. I do the grading and stuff for the online I have a little team that works under me with the parent outreach and connecting with the kids to help tutor and things like that. And so of that 500, there's 100 kids that truly never set foot in the building.
Yeah.
And it is a successful program.
That's
every year we
really,
have graduates that have done everything remote. They're working on farms, Teresa's out there driving. So they're working for their family. So that's really cool. And I think that's once you
huge.
say these kids they're not in our building. So we're really working with 400 kids here.
Yeah.
And so I think that's like
I think you're gonna
go ahead.
I think you're gonna find a bunch more kids coming from Logan. There's problems I know about, but the new system that they've got, they're about ready to cancel it, and you could have a healthy amount come.
Well, I presented and maybe I didn't ever talk about it, but every year I go and present at Logan City's board meeting just to kind of tell them how things are going, in addition to having, Frank sit on our board. And that is one of the concerns of Logan's board is just, we are probably closer to 60% Logan kids. And when I started here, years ago, it was the opposite. We were primarily county kids with the minority being from Logan, but we are very much kids coming from Logan to us now.
Well, I know there was a meeting going to be held yesterday, and it depends what the turnout was or what happened there. So,
wow. Well, it sounds like we're prepared for them if they decide they want to come, at least on an online basis. Originally, it sounds like, I don't know how many kids want to do that, but clearly there's a market for it.
Yeah.
And then our evening program has been very, when we talk with parents, like the flexibility that we provide our students and families, it is like the largest reason that kids are coming to us. The fact that we can help them in any situation, because we have found, I'd say this, like a lot of our students are helping their family, whether it's with the childcare, with working a job. Right. It's a lot of shared load, and that we can help them still find success in school and graduate. It's very much appreciated from.
That's great.
And then the only last thing I'll mention is accreditation. So accreditation wrapped up. We'll probably talk a little bit more about it in the June meeting, but we haven't gotten our official like stamp of approval, but we've received our report and everything looks like we will be good to go. The way Cognia works is the board of Cognia awards the accreditation to every school, and they meet quarterly. So their next meeting's in June, and that's when we'll receive our accreditation. So, but it was a great report. I'll send out that report so you guys can take a look at it, and then maybe ahead of that next meeting, we could have just go over it real quickly for the June meeting. But
that's great.
It went great. So.
Well, I primarily wanted to get, and I know Alex too, I just wanted to get in front of the board a financial statement just because it's been a couple months. So I was the primary driver of this one. I wanted to squeeze this one in. There wasn't a lot of stuff besides financial stuff, but I just wanted to make sure that the board was seeing a financial statement. So that's the reason why we put this one together. We'll also have another financial statement in June.
Okay.
Sounds good.
I think that's it.
I think that's everything. That's a quick 20-minute board meeting.
Yeah, that was great.
But I'm glad we held
Record.
I'm glad we did it.
Okay, well, we'll reach out in June. I think it was middle of June. I can't remember.
Yeah, middle of June.
Date.
Yep.
June 20th. June 20th.
Yeah.
All right.
Thanks, board members. We appreciate your support.